Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Two new stories for you. Firstly, it seems Eritrea is making a smart move about Assab port. Assab port of Eritrea, which could be a source of confrontation between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Ethiopia could make a claim to Assab. It could file a case for Assab. It could mobilize its military to retake Assab. But before all that, Eritrea is making a very smart move to counter Ethiopian ambitions to have access to Assab. Details for you in this video. Second news stories from Sudan, South Sudan. Thousands of South Sudanese have been deported from Sudan. Both countries are seeing internal conflicts and their bilateral relations are also very tense. Let's have a look at this story first. Around 3,000 South Sudanese have been deported from Sudan in the last 72 hours. The South Sudanese were deported mainly from Jazeera state of Sudan. Differences arose between Sudan and South Sudan in January earlier this year. Uh, Sudanese forces retook Wad Madani in Jazeera state, and RSF fighters had to withdraw from there. Sudanese military, led by Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, accused South Sudanese living in Wad Madani of supporting RSF. And Sudanese military reportedly arrested and allegedly killed two South Sudanese living in Jazeera state. South Sudan protested, and in South Sudan, we saw attacks on Sudanese people. South Sudanese who were living in Sudan military controlled areas, they fled to the areas where RSF is in control. And Sudanese who were in South Sudan, they came under attacks and they fled, they hid themselves. Around 600,000 South Sudanese are in Sudan, and there are hundreds of thousands of Sudanese too in South Sudan. Why is that now Sudan is deporting South Sudanese people? Because Sudan's military accuses South Sudanese residents of Sudan of supporting rapid support forces. That is why the South Sudanese are being deported. They were deported through Juba border crossing 48 hours ago by Sudanese military. So both the countries are fighting internally in Sudan. RSF versus Sudanese military conflict is ongoing in South Sudan. Reich Machar versus Salva Kiir conflict on the cards. And they are not good terms with each other as well. People on both sides of the border suffering, it seems. Now, the main news story is from Eritrea. Eritrean military, Eritrean government, rather, it seems, is making a very smart move about a support. You know, those who are following the geopolitical situation, regional developments in the Horn of Africa, that gradually tensions are rising between Eritrea and Ethiopia, and Ethiopia could make a claim to a support. Legal work is underway, law firms have been hired, military is building scenarios, narrative building is underway. Eritrean opposition groups are being armed, trained on Ethiopian territory. Eritrea is retaliating. It is being accused of supporting Fanon. It is being accused of forming an alliance with TPLF, the Debretsion. Eritrea has been at the forefront of forming an alliance against Ethiopia by supporting Somalia and Egypt. So both sides are definitely part of this escalation. Ethiopia basically wants access to sea through Eritrea. It was hoping to gain access to Assab, but Eritrea not willing to give military access, sea access to Ethiopia. Ethiopian PM, Ethiopian government reportedly offered shares in GERD, shares in Ethiopian Airlines to Eritrean government. Eritrean government did not show any interest. Then last year, Eritrea banned Ethiopian airlines from flying in Asmara. That was followed by Ethiopia backing, openly backing, supporting, organizing Eritrean opposition groups on Ethiopian soil. Assab now is the apple of discord between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Assab is not a fully developed port. It's not like Somaliland's Berbera. It needs investment. Assab was used as a base by UAE during Yemeni civil war. But UAE dismantled its military presence in Assab reportedly. Eritrea wants to build Assab as a port, as a major port in the region. It does not have money. Eritrea cannot build Assab, keeping in view that Eritrea would need billions of dollars to build Assab. Eritrea cannot partner with Ethiopia because Ethiopia, if Ethiopia is allowed to invest on Assab, maybe in future Ethiopia will not withdraw from Assab. Ethiopia cannot, Eritrea cannot trust Ethiopia in terms of partnership about rebuilding or building of full-fledged port of Assam. Somalia not in a position, Djibouti not in a position, Sudan not in a position, Egypt in a position, but there are economic issues too. It means that some country, some Western countries, some Middle Eastern countries should form a partnership with Eritrea to build modern Assam port. Which country? The country which is reliable, which Eritrea can trust. And if a country forms an alliance with Eritrea about building a support, that country will definitely support Eritrea. In case of Ethiopia making a claim to Assab or mobilizing military towards Assab, Eritrea is playing a very smart card now, making a very smart move. It is involving a Middle Eastern country to invest in Assab, to build a support, maybe an airport as well in the areas, road infrastructure. Which country? Saudi Arabia. I did a video last night. I told you that Usman Saleh, Eritrean foreign minister, arrived in Saudi Arabia. He met with his Saudi counterpart. He delivered a special message to Saudi leaders. Special message of Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki. I said the message is about Red Sea. It is about Ethiopia. It is about Ethiopian ambition to gain access to sea. Now it's almost confirmed now. Isaias Afwerki has been in talks with Saudis for years. If you remember, after Pretoria deal was signed, Isaias Afwerki visited Saudi Arabia. A Saudi plane, a royal plane, took him from Asmara to Saudi Arabia, and there he held talks. And no one ever knew what the talks were about. Saudi Arabia has been interested in building a port in this region, where it is very strategic in terms of location. UAE has immense presence in the area. It has built Berbera port. It has formed alliance with Ethiopia. It worked on ports in Somalia too. It built a port in Djibouti too. But then differences emerged between UAE and Djibouti. So UAE has been using a support of Eritrea as well. Turkey has also significant presence in the area. Chinese as well. Saudis they want to expand their presence near Gulf of Aden, That is why they're interested in building a modern port, which is Assab port. Just like UAE built Berbera. UAE owns, I think, 51% share in Berbera. Saudis want a similar arrangement reportedly. They want to build, they're interested in building Assab and they'll have a share of ownership of Assab. So Saudis and Eritreans will jointly operate Assab. If it happens, it means that Ethiopia will not be able to ever threaten and push its case for Assad. Saudis will stand with Eritrea, and Ethiopia won't be able to mobilize its military towards Assad. Saudis obviously will protect the investment. Just like in Somaliland, if anyone tries to move towards, tries to attack Berbera port, UAE will be involved. It will protect its investment in Somaliland. This is what Eritrea wants, reportedly. It is in talks with Saudis. It wants Saudis to invest in Assab to build a port, to build an airport. It wants a modern port built at Assab by Saudis. Now, this is just a proposal. It has been under consideration for some time, not new details are coming out now. Will the two sides agree on terms and conditions? That remains to be seen. Saudis interested, Eritrean government interested. And by the way, this investment could avoid Eritrea Ethiopia war, which seems to be not imminent, but it could happen. The two countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia, are on a collision course. If Saudis involve themselves, maybe this war could be avoided. Let's see. Once they agree on terms and conditions, then we'll be able to fully analyze this development. Sasawaki's message to Saudi leaders is definitely about a support, it seems. Thank you for watching.